Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. The Browns season is about to end this weekend, and there are two branches of results that could happen if the Browns win or lose their game versus the Baltimore Ravens. If the Browns pull off what is a 14-point upset, according to Vegas, then they have the chance to get either the 4 pick all the way back to the 7 pick. That's the range of possibilities if the Browns win. If the Browns lose that game, they're pretty much they're guaranteed a top 3 pick. And depending on if the Titans or the Patriots win on Sunday, would determine if the Browns get the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 overall pick. So those are the stakes for the Cleveland Browns coming up. The reason I bring up the draft positioning is because there is one player at the top of this draft, or I think a group of players at the top of this draft. But I want to focus on one guy specifically, in Abdul Carter, who I want to highlight to you guys and show why I think that this is one of the best players in this draft that the Browns could select and add next to Myles Garrett as an edge rusher. If we're talking about edge rushers, I think he's the best prospect in this class. Not to say that other prospects aren't solid, but he has a lot going for him. Another thing I think Browns fans should understand about Abdul Carter is the number that he wears. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Penn State tradition, number 11 is not just him choosing the number because Micah Parsons wore it. Number 11 is a tradition at Penn State that goes all the way back to LeVar Arrington. It is an honor to wear that number at Penn State. It is as the equivalent of getting the captain's badge on your chest, or the equivalent of wearing number 7 at LSU. Like, that is an honor that means something, and it says something about Abdul Carter, too, about how his peers view him, how his coaches view him. Because, again, you can't just be anybody doing anything and get that number at Penn State. So that's another thing, right? When you look at the film and you see Abdul Carter out there wearing number 11, remember, that number means something at Penn State. We're just talking about pass rush win rates. Now, if we measure in true pass sets, which is basically throwing out screens, throwing out play action plays, rollout plays, and really just getting into situations where the quarterback drops back to throw in the pocket, how often does that edge rusher win that matchup? Either way you measure it, Abdul Carter is incredible with these two metrics, right? His production at Penn State this year has been off the charts and, quite frankly, elite level. He has a pass rush win rate 22.9. His pass rush win rate in true pass sets is 36.6. To tell you how impressive that is, let's bring up some guys who he's comparable to, right? You're going to see on the screen Nick Bonito, Aiden Hutchinson, somebody like Micah Parsons, who he gets heavily compared to. Pass rush win rate for Micah, 20.7. That's lower than Abdul. Abdul was better there. True pass sets for Micah, 31. For Abdul, it was 36.6. We can go to somebody like Brian Burns, who has a similar build to Abdul Carter, right? Similar concerns coming out. 17.5, 19.7. You can see Abdul Carter does much better there. And Brian Burns is a Pro Bowl edge rusher. Alex Highsmith, same kind of deal there. 19.5, 25.4 true pass set. And then we start getting to ridiculous names, right? He's in the neighborhood of Joey Bosa's ridiculous 26.5 pass rush win rate his last year of college. And then he is in the neighborhood of his 37 pass. And he's in the neighborhood of that ridiculous 37 that he put up in his last year of college, too. These are crazy numbers. They're better than what Myles Garrett had his last year coming out, right? Myles Garrett was at 20.9, 28.4 in true pass sets. TJ Watt was at 18.1, 23.4. This doesn't mean that he's better than all these guys that he has better pass rush win rates than, but it does mean that his production is on par with those guys. Now, production's not everything. You can't just say somebody's going to translate to the NFL because they have good production, right? For example, you can have outrageous production, but you're playing at like Florida South Central and it don't really matter as much. But that's not the case for Abdul. Abdul plays at Penn State. He plays in the best conference in college football, in the Big Ten right now. And he's played some really good competition this year specifically on his Penn State schedule. What he's done has been impressive when you consider the level of competition that he's played against. Another thing with Abdul Carter that you have to mention is how he's winning these matchups, right? Because some guys in college, they win because they're just bigger than everybody else or something like that. How does Abdul Carter win? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to get the film out, look at Abdul Carter. I got 30 plays, 30 rushes to look at, and we're going to see why Abdul Carter is definitely one of the top prospects in this draft. And if the Browns sit and pick in the top 3, you got to consider taking Abdul Carter because he's that good. Let's jump into the film room. All right, Abdul Carter has multiple ways to win. He wins with his quickness. He wins with his bend. He wins with his hand. Sometimes he puts all 3 together. And it's really impressive that he has this deep of a pass rushing bag because I don't think he put his hand in the dirt prior to this season, or at least at full time at least. So he has a really deep bag for somebody who hasn't really been pass rushing that long. If you watch his tape, he got better and better as the year went on. Like he's just rapidly improving every week. He's not the biggest guy. You could tell that, right? Just by looking at the film. But if he can add just a little bit of weight, and even if he can't, he's still polished enough and athletic enough to where he could do something at the NFL level. And that's assuming that he can't gain any weight, right? If he can get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, like most young men coming out of college do, then you got yourself a absolute blue chip on your hands with Abdul. So let's look at the film. First, we're going to see how he wins with his hands. Goes up to 74. Look at that clean use of the hands, right? Nice little swipe. See, he likes that outside step, get that tackle to overstep because he sees Abdul here. He knows he's going to have to kick out fast, takes advantage of that, uses that angle, gets to the quarterback. That's a pressure. Good job there by Abdul. Another one here. Again, hands, angle, leverage. He uses this well here. Wide set. This is understanding leverage and having quick hands. The tackle tries to kind of get into his chest. He olays him. And then what I love here is he does a great job not being overly aggressive and maintaining the contain here on the backside, right? Because there's a lot of edges that will win like this, just sprint right to where they think the ball is. He does a great job holding contain, and then boom, making the play. You're talking about putting somebody opposite of Miles where like you're going to want that guy to contain a little bit, right? Because they're going to be running so much away from Myles Garrett. This is like a perfect thing to see on tape. And I think a lot of what I see with Abdul is somebody who can pair perfectly with Myles Garrett, and also somebody Myles Garrett can teach his superpowers too, because he has similar ability, right? A lot of times Myles Garrett be trying to teach these dudes stuff that he does. These dudes ain't capable of it. Abdul might be capable of it, right? This right here, again, look at the hands. Look at the hands here. Whew, look at that. It's beautiful. Again, number 11. Look, under, gets his hands to his chest, pushes him off. I want to know what his arms measure in the combine. His measurables are going to be important, right? You're going to want to see how much he bench presses too. But look at that. Long, then dip, and then rip. Look at that. That's perfect. And then what does he do? He gets the strip sack. Right here, another time he uses his hands, rips through, force a bad throw on 68. Boom. Pressure, interception. Right. Another one here. The hands, short area explosion. So look, boom, boom, run. Whoo. Like again, man, imagine if this is Myles Garrett on the other side of him. Like you can't just focus on him. as much as you would want to. Look at that. Hands, rip, slide, push. You got Mike Hall on that defensive line too. The one here, what he does really well is this dip. You see this little dip here he does? Like he gets the tackle extended and then he could just run underneath his leverage. And then look how sharp he cuts the angle. See how sharp he cuts the angle where he's basically running parallel with the yard marker? I mean, that's called special bend, right? Not Myles Garrett bend, but special bend right there. Like running basically with his knees hitting his chest. It's a real slippery dude. Look how he just slides through here again, understanding angles, knowing that they're going to try to crease him. He slides through there, and then he's patient. This is what I like about him, right? I think he can be a good run defender. The big question with him, you see him, he's not the biggest guy in the world. Can he run defend? I think he has the instincts and the brains to run defend because, look, he's not see-ball, hit-ball guy, right? He's not just closing his eyes. That was one of the big things of Michael Parsons, right? And who else was it? It was, I think, out of Notre Dame a couple years ago. He ended up going to the Cowboys in the second round. Y'all let me know in the comment section what his name was. But he was another see-ball, hit-ball guy. This is a great job getting under, sliding, and then paying attention, right? Boom. That's where you can tell he used to be a linebacker here. Now he is in the A gap, I believe. No, it's not even the A gap. He's a little wide. It looks like he's mugging, but he's really in the B gap. He's rushing on his guard. And just look at the quickness here. Right? Look at the quickness. Now, I think he's doing some kind of contain on this play because he gets through, but he doesn't go to the quarterback. I think that's by design. But again, look at that. Hands, quick, nice little swim. Right? I think sometimes he moves too fast for him to know what's going on because he's just learning so much so quickly that he's like disoriented at times. But man, another one, you can just look at the hands here. Just put hands to this tackle. Boom, slap away. I mean, it's really nice stuff. Sees the hands, feels the punch, slaps him away, and then dips underneath. Gets to the quarterback. Now we're going to jump to the Ohio State game, right? We're going to go through a lot of games here in this footage. But this is the Ohio State game, the second of the 4 games I think we're going to go through. So the ball get off here is crazy. And he struggled in the first half a little bit versus Donovan Jackson. Like Donovan, big, strong guy, right? You worry about that matchup with him. And at the beginning of this game, especially in the first half, Donovan was hurting him a little bit, right? He got this one little BGO move, ball get off. Got past him, but then Donovan did a good job pushing him in his back, making him run around. So you can see it, parts of this game, he definitely needs to get stronger, right? Like he gets pushed out the way there. Like the size of Donovan Jackson was really throwing him off. Now, the size is what makes you concerned about him as a run defender. I think he has the instincts to be a good run defender because he's a patient guy, right? He gets here, he reads the blocks, and then he gets into the gap and makes the play here, even though he's outsized by Donovan Jackson. If he was just a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, he would have been able to do what he wanted to do there. But since he's not the biggest guy, he's outweighed here by a couple 100 pounds. He kind of gets there, right? So he definitely needs to get bigger. He definitely needs to weight room a little bit. And if he's able to gain muscle, he's going to be able to run defend. I'm pretty confident in that. And this is where he started to figure it out, right? So you saw him struggle with the size and the strength of Donovan Jackson. And you saw Donovan, he was having a good game against him so far. And then he figured him out. And this is why, this is one of the things, right? When you look at like certain traits that you can't put a name on, this is one of those things when you watch him, you're like, oh my God, this dude just gets better so quickly. Like you watch him progressively on tape, he gets better every week. You watch him during the course of a game and he figures things out. And once he does, he's dangerous. He's lethal, right? This is another situation like that because he was struggling with Donovan. And then you get to this part of the game and then boom, just washes him. Look at that. Right? It was like, okay, I'm just going to run around him. And even though Donovan is a stronger guy than him, right? What Abdul has for him is he has a really strong base. So once he plants that base, you see, once he gets those feet planted, you see that Donovan can't move him off of his angle. And then he can use that ridiculous bend that he has to just get straight to the quarterback. Runs down Will Howard. Again, Will Howard, not a small guy, right? You're worried about his ability to take down the bigger guys in the world. This 6'3", 6'5", 230-pound quarterback, he just ragdolls to the ground. Takes 70 for a ride with them. So, like, yeah, he needs to get a little bit stronger for some, like, day-to-day mundane run game stuff if you want him to get the maximum amount of snaps he get. But this is not a weak dude, right? Like, I think sometimes you'll highlight a guy's flaw and be like, oh, he's weak. No, he's not a weak dude. He's just not as strong as you would want him to be, but he's still got plenty of strength. Because being able, like, look at that turn, look at that bend right there, right? You see how he stays parallel? And he just, look at that shit. He ran the 3-cone drill with Donovan Jackson on his back. Look at this shit, dog. Boom. Look, he touched the cone. Hey, man, that's a blue chip if I've ever seen one. Let's keep going. Yeah, that's look, if he gets, here's the thing. If he doesn't gain any weight, get stronger, he's going to still be an 8 to 10 sack guy a year, right? Like you'll still be very happy with what you get from Abdul Carter. But if he gets stronger, dog, this is Von Miller. Like this is that level of edge rusher if he gets stronger. Because again, Donovan Jackson's a NFL guy. Like he's gonna play guard in the NFL. He's a big, strong tackle. And just look at this. Look at that. He just ran under the table. And then look how he cuts this angle, man. And then think about it. It's going to be Miles on the other side if you draft him. With Michael Hall in the middle. Look at that, man. Look. Again, he might not have the biceps and the muscles up top that you are looking for. But if you're wondering about his strength, watch how 70 doesn't push him out the way at all. He doesn't deter his movement here, right? The lower body strength is no question. He's got that. If he did squats at the combine, he'd do great. It's the upper body strength he needs to work on. But look at that. You can't move him once he gets planted. Straight up. Let's keep going here. But yeah, that's. I mean, just look how much better he got over the course of this game, man. Look, we saw him struggling the whole first half. You know, he wasn't doing well. Donovan Jackson was getting to him. It was too strong. You're like, oh, he's just weak. He can't get through. He goes up against a big, strong guard. You know, he has to gain 10, 15 pounds of muscle to be anything in the NFL. And then he comes out in the second half and he does some shit like this where you're like, maybe he not weak. Look at that, man. Just fights through. And then again, who he got on his hip? He got him on his hip like a Birkin bag right now. Like just boom. Let me go get Will. Yeah, this is the kind of shit that gets me excited. I don't know if you can tell by the tone of my voice. This is the kind of shit that gets me excited. Look how much better he got over the course of the game. He's not afraid of a challenge. He got his ass whooped in the first half. He wasn't worried about it. He came back in that second half and he said, "All right, I'm gonna give it back to you." That's a competitor. That's why he wears the number 11. Hell yeah, bro. Everybody in the division don't want you to draft 11. Everybody in the division. Mike Tomlin somewhere looking at Mike Tomlin somewhere looking at Abdul Carter tape, begging the Browns not to draft him. Like begging them. Same thing with John. John somewhere, Joe Burrow out there looking at this shit like, hey, I hope they pass on him. Again, this is outrageous bend you're about to see here. Yes. You notice how close look how bent he is, and look how he's still moving forward. And then notice Donovan can't get him off the track. If he's able to plant that base, dog, you got no worries about his strength. It's just when that upper body strength comes into it, it becomes a bit of a problem for him. But if he just gets a little bit stronger in that upper body, man, he perfects what he has going on in that lower body. Yeah, dog. He can't take him off the track right now. Look how low he gets. Look how sharp he cuts this angle. And he's only been doing this for a year. All right, let's go to the Oregon game. Now, this is a big one, right? Because Oregon has two guys I think are going to play in the NFL at the tackle position. I think the better of the two is Josh Connerly, the left tackle for Oregon. I know a lot of people think it's a Johnny Cornelius. From what I've seen, and I got to watch more Oregon tape, I think Josh Connerly is a better player here. But let's watch him go up against both these guys, right? Again, when it gets to his base, right, this is why I think he can run defend in the NFL. Because, like, he's not weak when it gets to his base. He doesn't have these size concerns once he gets planted. Because, look, you see here, he gets double-teamed. He plants. Well, he didn't get double-teamed. He just got singled up. But he plants, and then he fights. He gets over to the gap, and he closes. And then, look, he walls that up. Look at that. So it's the upper body stuff that he needs to work on, because he shows moments where he can just put a bull rush to somebody like Josh Connerly, and you can see the strength, right? When he can dig into that dirt, he's as powerful as he wants to be. Now, he did something beautiful with that bull rush. So he bull rushed him, right? Then he got wide of him. He's definitely a guy who could thrive in a wide 9, by the way. So he got wide of Josh Connerly. And oh my God. He didn't even pull this one out versus Ohio State. This is a new one. Good God, man. Look how he just shoots across the face of Josh Connerly. And Josh Connerly just holds the life out of him. I don't think he gets called for this, but look, just like has to grab his neck. Yeah, that's a win. That's a win for Abdul right there against a real NFL prospect there. Boom. Got the life held out of him. And then you watch him do it again here to Josh. He just sets him up. Look at this. Tap, tap. And then Josh held again. They didn't call that shit either. It's crazy. Nah, he was whipping ass. He was whipping ass on this one. Watch. Now, this is a different one, right? I want to see like his overall athleticism, right? Because he's smaller. He's got to be a really great athlete. How well can he run in the open field? Watch him come from the middle of the field here. He's hovering over the A-gap. And he's kind of in a contained role. I think he's doing a spy on Dylan Gabriel. So you can see he's spying Dylan Gabriel. Dylan throws this screen, and watch him come from the right hash all the way to number 1 to wipe that shit up. Great play. Great play. Good athlete, good awareness there too from him. This one, he just nasty, man. And look, he gonna get to if he gets with Myles Garrett and Myles gets to teach him that Euro and he cleans this up with him a little bit, right? Because this one isn't even clean, right? He took too many steps here. This is just pure athleticism why he wins with this little 2-step. Because look, you can just watch his feet. He takes way too many steps. Little jab, around there. He could have beat him with that clean Myles Garrett 1-2 Euro on him, right? Because he had him beat the second he came out his break. Because look how hard he's shooting out. And then boom, just come across. He's just doing this off raw athletic ability, just straight up winning. And again, this is why I go back to, this is somebody Myles can teach his superpowers to, right? Like Myles can give him the game to get to the next level because like this is a guy with not the same amount of athletic ability as Myles. Obviously, Myles can do all of this shit and he's 6'6" and he weighs 300 pounds. Abdul is not that level of athlete, but he can do some of this stuff. And just set this dude up. Boom. Inside. Rip. He gets pushed out the way. Still maintains his track. 41 is a great athlete too. Kobe King. Brown should get him somewhere later in the draft. But they shut down Gabriel there. All right, let's go to the SMU game. This one was fun to watch. First, this dip. We know he has this dip. Look what he does to 54 here on this dip. Shoop. He just dipped underneath his punch. No. Yeah, 54 he had some moments where he went back and forth with him. I'm not going to say he got washed or anything because there's some times, right, where you could just definitely tell he needs to be larger. Watch his fullback completely detrack him, right? Boom, pushed him out the way. Again, when it's the upper body stuff, Abdul needs to get stronger. But that lower body stuff, he's pretty solid in. But yeah, this one right here, that's upper body, right? Chest, he got beat. He's not as big. He needs to get a little bit stronger, right? So that's really where his like strength concerns are. But how strong you need to be when you can just run under somebody like that. Like, I know he's mad, right? Because he wasn't able to bring him down. And sometimes that happens, right? When you do something like this and the guy runs right there, it's just a tough angle to get a guy at. Again, upper body strength plays a role into it. But remember, he's not going to be on the island. There's going to be Mike Hall. There's going to be Myles Garrett here if he flushes out to clean that all up. The pressure is really what you really need there. And he can create pressure. This dude, like day one NFL, he's going to be a pressure creator. One thing I think also he could add is a better spin move. I don't think his spin move is up to par right now. Like, that's just not it. Man, if your athletic caliber should have a better spin move than this. Again, Myles going to teach you them superpowers. Because the thing about Myles is he knows how to use those, like, strides to his advantage. So 1, 2, 3, he just takes, like, way too many steps to set this up. Myles teach him how to set that shit up in 3 steps. Like, Myles got an incredible spin move. Yeah, he didn't cover ground too on the spin. You notice that? He just don't know how to do it right. Myles teach him how to dance. Myles will teach him how to dance. We good on that. That's one of the things like, oh, he could add this, right? This little spin. He could add this to his game because, again, notice once he gets planted, watch 54 fall down, right? He couldn't get him off the track. He tried. He couldn't get him off the track. So that spin move can work. He just needs to learn how to dance a little bit. Look at that shit. Did he just mirror him like that at the edge? Look at that. Yeah. Made the play though. Shout out to the quarterback. All right. So this sack right here is a fun story. We're going to first watch the sack. Happens against 54. This pretty much puts the game away. Goodness gracious. What's one hell of a move? Did he do like a half step there? Yeah, he got held at everything. Goodness. Yeah. So he just dips underneath him. First off, right? So a little step, dip, runs, rips. Again, you notice once he gets planted, once he gets those legs in the dirt, you can't detrack him, right? You can't take that train off the tracks. So it's like that's what you worried about if you worried about strength, right? Like that, he got that. You can't take him off the track. And then again, patient guy. Look how he waits. He's not just going to blindly throw himself at the bot. Like, you know how JOK sometimes drives you crazy because JOK would just like straight up dive and try to hit stick somebody? He's the exact opposite. He's not going to do that. He's going to be a perfect cleanup guy, right? Like if Miles is getting the pressure, he's going to be able to look, have the awareness to read, and he just watches Seven's hips and he's like, oh no, I don't need to over pursue. That's me. That's me. I got you. Now, if you're going to notice, 11 is really excited about this and 54 is distraught. Look, 54 is distraught about this sack. Now, you might be wondering, why did this happen? Well, this is a fun story. And again, it goes to why he wears that number 11 jersey, right? What people think about him, what his teammates think about him, what his coaches think about him. Because what you don't know about that sack is that was the end of a little bit of a war that was going on between number 11 and 54. Let me show you, right? So 54, he is on the right side on this play. And look what happens to 54. He gets in a little scrumble with 28, right? Him and 28 getting a little bit of a dogfight, take each other to the ground, right? First 54 gets a little wrestle takedown on him, right? Headlock takeover, bam. 28 ain't like that. So he put that man in the backbreaker. Yeah, he put him in that backbreaker, right? I know he felt that thump because that's, ooh. Okay, so he thumps to the ground super hard. So this is the next play after that. 54 is furious about what happened. Now, he can't get his get back on 28 because 28's on the other side of the field. So he decides he's going to get his get back on Abdul Carter. So, and he gets that get back on Abdul, right? He gets there, Abdul falls, and then notice him. He's doing too much now, right? Like the play's all the way over there. Why is he doing all this, right? Like this is too much. He's getting his lick back on 11 because he can't get it back on 28. So at this point, Abdul Carter is being antagonized on pretty much every snap by 54. He's begging this dude to punch him, get ejected, something. He's trying to take Abdul out of his game because he's mad, right? So that happens. You know, he's doing too much. There's another example of him doing too much, right? Right here. Look, again, this is not the protection you would use. This is not the technique you would use in this situation. The penalty had gotten blown. There was like a whistle before the snap. And he's doing that. He's doing too much, right? He's doing a little push. He's trying to antagonize him. But notice, Abdul doesn't buy into that. He just, calmly collects himself. And then he gets that moment to get that rush on 54. And he gets his lick back the right way. Dip underneath throw him. Watch. I'm going to get that sack. And you can just see 54 is like, oh, God, that's not what could have happened, right? Let him get the sack. And then now you get your leg back, right? That's why he wears number 11. That's why when I watch the tape on him, yeah, I like Abdul Carter a lot. I think he is a fantastic prospect. I think he is especially uniquely suited to be a perfect fit across from somebody like Myles Garrett and to be paired with Myles Garrett because he doesn't have to live on the opposite side. You can stand him up at linebacker. You can put him in the A gap at times. You could put him super wide. Imagine having like him play the wide 9 all the way on the numbers and then putting Myles on the inside of whatever tight end they try to put on the strong side of the field and just confusing teams like that, or allowing Myles or him to get a bunch of open space to get to the quarterback. And because both these guys have incredible bend, it doesn't matter how wide you set them because they can cut that angle straight back to the quarterback. This is a perfect fit for what the Browns want to do. Mason Graham's really good too. I'm going to do my breakdown on him. I wouldn't be mad at that selection either. But Abdul Carter, if you ask me to pick one, I'm going to say Abdul Carter at this point. Now, if something comes out, medical, combine measurement wise, or he has some kind of character flaw exposed to the public, then we're going to have to reevaluate. But if we just looking at the tape, Abdul Carter, yeah, I'd be comfortable drafting him wherever the Browns land. But that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have you a better night. Peace.